wherever you find yourself in the world. We don't come again. This is not the voice of Sierra Leone. We don't come again with another special edition of social media review. We tell God thank you. We see this day. We tell God thank you for all the one that we're able to join with today. And we say, una share with una group, share with your friends, and una kindly we can discuss about Sierra Leone. I get with me a very, very distinguished lady, a lady where they do, then they call them a nickname na the silent doer. They do something, but they do in silence. They under the radar. They do for Salone. They do things them where they impact Sierra Leone, where they make a change. Like how can I be called on America and say, what can you do for your country? Don't ask what the government can do for you, but what can you do for your country? And they don't answer to that call of Sierra Leone. And this woman, and none other than Mrs. Memuna Tujane, then in London. She's a woman. Then a London he reside, but he they give back to the country in 2014 where Ebola come, it begin for give, it begin for help, he go out there and helping people. And also after that, it don't become a passion to they go help for feed them picking in a school, and as well as then begin a mobile library for let picking they able read, because you get for catch them when they're small. But before I bring them in, before I bring with guests in tonight, you only get a few 30 minutes at least with we for showcase what you don't do, because we like for showcase them people the way they do and the way they make a difference, because it's all about the solution. What you go do for your country, how you go help the government for fix the crisis and the problem within the country. But I bring me own co-host that I get tonight today for kind of months but then talk here. And also when after this guest we get for talk, we see the problem where they happen right now at the law school in Salone. We see the problem, we know what's in there happen, we all don't see and go around, and that is very important for let we go up much but we go camp down there later. But before that, la bring with una like Professor Kutubu tell una plenty I do. And I also get Madam Janet Musa with me, the London based manager, the INSEF VOS manager, INSEF day with me for EPWI for low all join on, and Rob Mott for talk waiting the government on the do right, and for try for find out and try for bring solutions. And yeah, you own take what you wanna say, because we know say that they listen to we know say that they hear we. So Professor tell the people they are do, then Madam Janet tell the people I do, then I will bring with guesting, then Madam Janet tell una about himself, later una small thing. Because if fine for low yearly from the person, who that's Mrs. Memuna Janet. So we go get for yearly for ma'am. But let we quickly we co-host them today. Professor Kutubu, we honorary professor on our VOS. Go ahead and tell the people the plenty I do.
To the fans, the listeners, the supporters, the followers, on behalf of the VOS Television Network, one heartily welcome we distinguished guest tonight, Madam Memuna Janet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. And Madam Janet, let the people hear your voice, please. Let you tell them plenty I do, ma'am.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome Janet VOS, and actually for you, she's a silent. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Janet. Okay, let me bring in are we on? Let me bring in with guests, please. Wanna hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I wasn't hearing it. So let me bring with guests in Madam Memuna Janet, the silent changer. The silent change maker. You the change, you the make difference. Who done a Memuna? Some people they go curious, they not sabi you. Who done a Madam Memuna Janet? Tell the people a little bit about yourself. What you who done you, what you they do, and whatever else you want let people they know about you. Go ahead, please, and welcome to VOS.
Thank you, Madam Fadima. Good evening, good afternoon to everybody. Thank you to VOS for having me here today. That's Memuna Janet. Well, I'm just an ordinary Sierra Leonean, really. I'm a working girl. I'm a family person. I'm married. Got two them. I base both the Salone and UK actually. I kind of live in two countries. And I work as a consultant around the world, but then I do a lot of work also in a salon. I try to bring really knowledge and know really impact for able to bring for change the story that salon really bit as much as I can.
Okay. So 2014, Ebola Kana Salon. Beaucoup people them be afraid. Beaucoup people afraid for that. But you go there, you did at the forefront. You did at the front, you did on the ground. Waiting inspire you as a Sierra Leonean. Waiting inspire you. Forgive that selfless sacrifice there to the people there in Sierra Leone.
Well, where Ebola start, with the Ebola been go on, my whole family we've been based in London at that time because I've been around summertime, summer holidays, so we all been there together in London. And we all know what we seen on television, all kind of negative image about the country. It was very disturbing for everybody. So for me, I've been just troubled that I seem to know how for help. I feel obliged, say, as a family at least, we for try to do something. Make we not just sit down and watch like a stranger, them like everybody else. We to try to see what we can do. And interesting, we've been together for conversation. We actually been together lunch. My husband and me two together, we still with together lunch at this very table we sit also actually. And then the image them they show on television, I've been just finding it disturbing. I don't know if not because we've been together lunch or whatever, but the idea kind of in mind saying, well, me not a medical person, I don't know how to get injection, I don't know anything about the kind of incident, but so I think to myself, say, well, people they must get for it. And I remember saying, when we there in a salon, we person sick in the hospital, one of the things that we can look forward to at least while he's sick now for let like him, when they will bring food from, we got at least feel really bit love from my family and all that. I can't remember saying that well with them people and they quarantine, so nobody not forgot to them, nobody know they talk to them. How we go stand for them if they know they get food from their home. And then just around that time, we're going to get the first lockdown. It was September actually, when they get the first lockdown. The government announced the first 3-day lockdown. And me from where we did our salon, certain people and certain people in the inside the community where I know say, and so much so when I wake in the morning, I wait in the hustle for the morning, and they go to buy that 5-block bread, then commodity and do two, 3 person then load, then send it for each time, and then do the same again to the net. So I can remember I said, well, if they lock all them people you have to down for 3 days, how then go, how then go fend away, how then go eat. So I began discussing with his family. I said, well, maybe something I go try for see if we can feed them people here so inside lockdown. In fact, all we started have been just one community that we all area where they have been focused on because of them people and they are savvy. So I discussed out with the family as we be they eat. My man me looked out, he said, but then say lockdown, are you think to say you will forget food to people? Then I said that they lock everybody down. Are you to say you could do that? And I said, well, I go try, I go see if I will make any connection them and then we go see what thing will happen. So I get the blessing of the all. And at that point, then I became named the project because all it was an appeal at that time. In name lunchbox gift. So that's what it is. That first lockdown day, we as a family we served 2,600 meals to 7 different communities. Then people were under them bridge, just people that were in a bed and kind of side, and they will make sure they will care. We partner with organizations like a campaign for good governance. We've been get permission to go into them communities and they go explain, hygiene and all them kinds of things inside the lockdown. We piggyback on that system and say, okay, where will they go for go tell them about the hygiene and all them things and we go now we give them food as well because we know so they know we're getting for it. So that's how it started really. And the feedback, fortunately for me, the people that work in the care them food and they go, we've been still in London. People that work in the care them food and they go out and they do video them for me as they do that then stop them there. So I'll be able to see the reaction from people that can realize that this is a serious problem. I can realize say, well, indeed, food, something we all take for granted, that's something a problem for people. And because the feedback, they were so passionate, they were so thankful for that simple gesture there. So of course, once I get started now, I'm not able to stop again because I can't say this that something when myself can do. You can get frustrated if you see all the images and there to really see them and feel helpless, and then suddenly kind of fortuitous that I've come across something when myself can do it can help the situation. So from there now, we negotiate with the government for say, okay, the biggest Ebola treatment center then at the Western area, we go mobilize support for how we feed them. So then give we PTS1, PTS2, that's not the Hastings Hospital. We've been they feed the Jewel, we've been they feed 34. the main hospital at the Western area that we've been declared and launch every single day. And we've been immobilized. We did like an online fundraiser. Certain people in America, they in fact come on board. People like China, Bangura, they all come on board and help with for mobilized funds. And then we've been now turned that into food at SALONE. And also, a lot of, because at that time I was based in the city in London, able to mobilize a lot of the clients at the city for support what they do. So it became a very successful online campaign. We got a lot of press attention at the time because, again, some of the international press stumbled on the story, so we were covered in a lot of the big press houses, and they also helped the campaign to get momentum. So that way they were able to do a lot for months and months and months. We will just be feed every single day. Every single day we'll be feed over 1,000 every single day with the cooked food and with the package them. And for one person, all man gets your own packet because of course contamination. So we get for make sure to package everything. Everybody gets your own parcel, your own spoon, everything they go inside it. And then we get for make sure to buy special packaging with combustible because they get for able for burn everything. So we get for use paper packaging, wooden spoon and everything for make sure say when we carry food go to patients, once they don't eat done, they will carry and go and they go put it into the incinerator and they go burn done. And we get special, we get about 3 different types of meal because we get to provide certain type of meal. Ministry of Health, we give special instruction. We get to provide certain type of meal for, people that we just get Ebola. We're really, really weak. So we do like light soup for them. They will get all that type of food they give for the one they really recover. We get all that type of food they do for the one they really, the staff, they also feed the staff, then the frontline workers, they all get for feeding. So it was a very satisfying project for me because I able to say yes, me able to make an impact in this crisis, even though we're not a medical person, at least able to mobilize help from society for make sure that people can get the support they need.
Yeah. So some people then will ask the question, say, okay, we see medical doctor, then they die, where they get contact with them people here, where they come in contact with these Ebola. And we all be doing you say Ebola no get medicine, Ebola no get cure. But yet there comes you going in there daily. What's in be your strength? Who's you gonna get that strength for continue for do what you gonna do? Because it was a risk. Not too many people can go do it. So who's how you pull that strength there for continue for they go day after day after day for how long this epidemic will last in our country? How you been to get the strength? Who's how the strength come off from? Because maybe somebody they listen to you where they say, wow, this woman is but me, I'm not good one. But who's if I encourage somebody else, if anything like that, they come again, God forbid, now we country. Waiting, who's how you been to pull that strength there where somebody could learn from, say, okay, she did it, so I could do it too.
Yeah, the support, first of all, the support we get from people all around the world, being like that, really energized me because you can't see the people and they rely on you. Because a lot of people let me get the same issue. They have one for this one, but they don't get away. So that support still having to get from people, even, and I'm talking about non-Sierra Leoneans here and Sierra Leoneans from all over the world. When it can be only for support, we kind of get speed. But in terms of the actual delivery, yes, those were risky. Those were sometimes I think even recently while in that one, they reflect. They reflect to the look through the pictures of the clip, the names of the staff will be go. And it really kind of sink in the kind of risk they will be they take. But there were rules, there were control, there were guidelines. Also, when they go deep inside to the patients, there were several sort of screening points in between. When you see brother and sister and they suffer that kind of way, you get for Fenway. You just get for Fenway. So for me, I just been on tired for city pain. I just not be able for. I don't ever see SALONE in recent times at least in that kind of suffering day. And I just once I be not start, I just not be able for stop again because I can't see say this they make a difference. And they get feedback from patients that we don't recover. Where they come out and they send them thank you. And they get feedback from the doctor the way they come back and say, this is what we do. So it's very, very helpful. So you get survival the way they tell you say now your food will be in the inside hospital. So that man they give you courage, they make you feel to say, well, this way they do so they make impact, make a take risk. But you get for take a calculated risk. Go no more. So you get for follow the guidelines. There were very, very strict guidelines which who they follow for go deliver the food, other way they hand over to all people to get for do go for go deliver the food. And then we hand that over. In fact, they hand everything over to the staff of the hospital, and then they go now deep into the wards to go see the patients one at a time. So yes, it was risky. But I think in the speed of things and when you see the results of what you do and get that feedback from people there, you just keep going. You just keep going. I go encourage people them do it. When we get them problem here soon as salon, and there've been several shocks like that. Make we find way. Because for a lot of people then they're not getting no alternative. Make we find way. Make we find way. Make we dig deep and find way. Because what you a small little bit therapy they do, it make a difference.
Yeah, thank you. Professor, Madam Janet.
I got two questions. One I follow up. The first question, you don't consider judgment and candid opinion. You one actually tell me very honestly whether at the outbreak of this, deadly disease, whether in fact the authorities then they act very quickly and swiftly for ensuring they will contain them. In other words, whether they move so quickly for make sure say the thing not come out from inside the area we start to can spend or whether they move very quickly, decisively, and put mechanisms in place. And the follow-up to that question could be, I see you go number 10 down the street. So I don't know whether you want to give me a background of you visiting down the street to this effect.
Okay. So the answer to the first one, I think anybody can see, say, we make as this have been one of with I think probably with first major epidemic, we make some mistakes and there's no question about it. Until the way now when they look back, where they learn from. We know now as a country, this is they will be for don't do what we not do. So I think yes, there were issues at the beginning, but then after, within a reasonable space of time, things then kind of normalized. We get into a routine. But it took us a bit longer to get there, if truth be told. So that then at the thing we will learn from it. And also right now there's lots of work they go on within the Ministry of Health and other complementary ministries for make sure that we get proper disaster recovery planning in place and everybody know what he's supposed to do at any given time. Then that kind of infrastructure they not been there at the time, at least if it be there services until we don't rehearse properly. I think even not a few months ago they may even do some kind of rehearsal, the ambulance services, for make sure say we all know it's something like that and a boss again, we're able to contain the problem. Because a lot of the issue that we happen with Ebola are the containment issue. And we don't forget to say we get a high literacy level in SALONE. So the normal methodology we go use for communicate to people that maybe through radio and all that kind of thing and newspaper, not so that you go use inside place like a salon. You almost get for go door to door for go communicate your message. One of the other things where I think say sometimes we make mistakes and back, we fail for use beyond institution them, we traditional institution them. Because we go for a Western solution, we rely on the Western people for can't tell what thing for do, and we forget for see value inside we own institution them. So we demonize the people the way at community level, at village level, the people the way we own people then go listen to. We put them one side, we say we they go tell them it was my message. So I think so that's in the back we need for not for repeat next time. Make sure so we work with the people in then secret society, you understand? The community elders, people the way not necessarily fit into the Western mold, but when they then get influenced, and then the people the way people that they listen to inside them community today, and then we need for work with to get that kind of crisis for make sure so the message goes to the people that they understand. So that's what I'm going to say on the first point. Definitely, we hope say Ebola no come back, but I really believe say something like that. If one come back again, I think we all don't learn now. Systems are in place, waiting for do. Yeah, that's on the first point. Yes, this week I cancelled in the UK. I get invited by Downing Street, the Prime Minister office at Downing Street. I got an invite from them for come participate on a round table for discuss solutions for Africa and for the Caribbean. So then come across obviously the work where they do in SALONE and where don't they do over the past few years, and then get a round table of people, similar people from Africa and from the Caribbean inside Downing Street for Sodoma and Tanghead, for let them learn more about the problem there and for know what's in the work and what's not the work, etc., etc. So I mean, there's a first of a series of meetings that we can get this week where I attend this week. So hopefully there'll be more follow-up meetings behind that. But it was a very interesting meeting for meet people. They do different in them. People that were based in the UK, people that were they do stuff like the Caribbean, people that they do stuff in Africa. For hang head with them because the government now want to learn more from the ordinary practitioners, not necessarily the professional the way they work in their own office them, but they want to learn from the ordinary African or Caribbean and the diaspora and them. What they do in their own country, they want to understand how impactful, what's good and what's not so good about it, then what can they do with it. So that was a very, very useful meeting for me. Obviously, I was going to fly the SALONE flag and fly the flag from a mobile library service we were just on launch a few weeks ago. Standing up front, we really, really capture their attention a lot, and they pay attention to and see what they can learn from that kind of solution there, and how they will help people increase the service across the country, where that time they go reach after the pilot phase done. So yes, that was a very good meeting, Mr. Koroma.
Okay, I get a question. Let's go to the mobile library, talk on the mobile library, which is very, very good because the book, then they go to the picking them. The library, they go park, how will they operate? Because we see the education system at SALONE, and I know say you old enough for go the 10 way SALONE we get good education system. Now we see the education system not better in a SALONE. And then now we see this government, we don't count the president in baby way it gets now free quality education. Then you come in with this mobile library for take the book to the picking them, because library now they go do research, now they go how this library where you don't do this pilot program, this first mobile library where you don't begin, how it work, and waiting at the goal of that library, how una plan for take them forward in the next maybe 20, 30, 40 years or whatever.
Yes, indeed. I'm glad the way you put that long time plan there on them, because and then they really wait for they think about. You see, the problem that we'll get at SALONE, I want people to understand, as much as we're frustrated and we're vexed for the thing the way they go around our country, the solution, they're not so quick solution then. There's no silver bullet. The thing and don't go so wrong that we get for almost go back to basics. We get for start again from the beginning. So some of the thing that we'll get for the not which I will call sexy thing that we go for points. So hey, look that big thing I build. So the thing that we'll get for the in the background. Like the working out, what would they do with primary school picking the early reader day? Nobody not go see the value of that day until 10, 20 years from now, where that person they don't come through. So now then kind of mind that we get for pull now for begin invest in then longer term solution there, instead of that quick fix where they can take picture, show for top, and show, hey, look what they are doing. So that one day, now we need for the dig deep. How we get into libraries? Well, after Ebola done, as a team, we decide say we need somehow by accident, but seriously, we don't seem to develop this brand where everybody recognize now. Lunchbox Kit, you get your website, you get a whole presence. It's a respected brand because it deliver what you say go deliver. So we can't begin thinking now, well, okay, Ebola, I don't know, we're glad for that. But for take this Ebola, for take this brand now, we don't do so many effective things that we for put and down bar, or we for try for use them, for see how we can leverage that asset for do more things. And thankfully, we decide 3 years ago, for say we go focus on the picking that we left behind, in particular, offer them underprivileged picking them. And that's about picking us. I know you see underprivileged picking them, because that's mainly we get. So we start with school feeding. 3 years ago, we start with school feeding in a community school. This is not even before the government launched their own school feeding project, so we already see now. We start a school feeding project. And again, I don't know, sometimes, they realize this is how sometimes the solution can be simple. But when we start that, I remember the first school we begin for feed, within 3 weeks, the attendance and registration at that school, they go up by 300%.
Yes.
I was completely stunned. And it's sustained to this day. We even they get people that would stop we along the route for us so when they come to their own school. It is such an important tool for education. There are the picking them the need for it. When them picking them, they don't eat done. You want to see energy, you want to see excitement when they don't eat done. You want to see the excitement even when they arrive with their food, because when they cook the food, we carry and go, we serve the food, we pack all things, and then we go home with her. We get a company that's what they call flash vehicles, when then they battle with on the logistical side. Flash vehicle every single day now that they can pick with staff, pick the food, pick everything. Can we go to the school then we serve, then we come back, free petrol, free motor car, free driver every day. So I really want to take the opportunity to commend that company, their flash vehicles. But we begin school feeding. We see the impact of school feeding. We see now that particular school day, 100% pass na NPSC, 100% acceptance at the school of choice for that school. So we can't say, well, this food there, so it seems for they make a positive impact. But of course, now when you work in the education space, you become privy to a lot of the other issues and the secondary issues the way they go on. So we get for cancer say literacy. Actually, even you go surprised for that sense literacy an issue. Sorry, even for school picking them, they have literacy issues. That's how picking they read. Right. If picking don't know how to read, you know, even know what's in the question say. So not to say you know sometimes get the technical knowledge, but if you don't understand what they read, the chances for you answer the right answer are very, very slim. And discussing with the headmaster that we would work with, we can realize that this is not a problem. So the idea came to me, say, well, you know, maybe we have a research this further, look at what's happening at the country. And so I did on that reading, the one day now I discovered, I read some other reports on SALONE. It was nighttime and they read this report about SALONE. I can't discover in very small print say that SALONE only 4% of schools get access to a library.
Wow.
And I was shocked. 4% of schools get access to a library. I read it over and over and over again because I'm able to believe. Right. You know, when we grow up in a SALONE, there's a lot of things we take for granted we will be grow up because things are made in place generally, you know. And even me in school, I go convent, we get library and everything. Primary school, I get library. So this is I not be ever need for experience or wonder about anything and this. So I can't begin look at it now say, but if now they don't get library, they don't get side and they go read, how they go improve their language.
Mm-hmm.
So that's opened up a whole kind of worm for me. And of course, I don't get into the habits now, you know, where I see something doing all right. I don't see from the work I don't do, say, I can actually make a difference. So now problem is not they face me that way, they know they see problem and knock me over that way. They don't think, okay, what can we do for solve that problem? Because I don't get into that habit still now. So I look at the library institution. I said, this was a big problem, but I don't know quite how I will tackle it. And so I continued researching. I research. I can't decide. So you know something. When you look at the library data, even the Southside SALONE Library Board gets library. When you look at the footfall, almost what's in the can of the library is so small.
Yes.
So the stationary library, and also we all can do that for alumni association, association. There we can donate books, we can do that. But the children don't go to the library. Mm-hmm. So that's I think the inspiration come from now for say, well, you know, if the picking another kind of library, then the library can go mix the picking. That's the only solution I could think of. Mm-hmm. So I researched that again and she said, yes, indeed, you can do mobile libraries, etc., etc. So we cut a long story short, we designed a whole model around that. But what's really important for me is I not in one can just come put in a solution where I don't test. So we go this whole school year and a pilot here. Mm-hmm. We chose a particular area where we go in with 3 mobile libraries, and when we go into that community, they would measure the impact of the library then they for kind of fine-tune the model, where we get a good working model. We now go to all partners and say, okay, we don't try this thing, we don't see the impact we they make. Now we want to roll them out to the rest of the country. Mm-hmm. Now we chose Cambia district for the pilot. The reason why we choose Cambia district is because when you look at the data for NPSC results, this is not what we even know as common entrance. When you look at the data for NPSC, Cambia situation is really bad off. From 2015 to now, Cambia they can last on every single subject every single year for NPSC. And then the results, not of the can last, the results they become worse every year. It will become worse. Mm-hmm. So for we look and say, well, this is not the best site for trial this kind of solution. You know, let me go for the area where what's affected by primary school education. We could go there and trial this solution. So we go Cambia. We work with the Ministry of Education and Cambia, and obviously the one Africa for giving guidance, because when it's you do that SALONE, you always work with the relevant line ministry then for you get them support, then buy in and then guidance. So then select 30 schools then for we across the entire Cambia district. Every single chief them are just one. I think right now we never forget to it because of the terrain, but we still work on that. The idea we negotiate with the school and we will get the meeting. I tell the headmaster and teacher and say, we not just the kind and pack with library and hope for the best. When the library can out in school, we need scheduled library lesson. You can just stop everything and read for that 45-minute slot.
Right. Because
we not just one can put the library in ISO, then we hope say 2-3 people go come. No. Then for stop every student do and then for read. Mm-hmm. Each library gets a librarian where they support the teacher and support the teaching them. So when the library come at your school, they come for your library lesson. And we work mainly with classes 4 and 5. Class 6, because they focus on NPSC, they work with them. Class 1, 2, and 3, really the standard in a salon so low that they're not really in the stages for even being read properly. So the library they come at your area, at your school, it is stop for your library lesson. You take the book, you go inside your class, you read. As far as you go with it, when the lesson comes to an end, we get a company within called TY Memory Masters. This is a company within a salon, a local. So we talk about local content now. Right. TY headed up by a gentleman called Daniel Chato. In your contribution, I approached him. I said, "Do you, Papa? I want to do this library, but I want to measure the impact of what they do." Mm-hmm. I said, "So, Julia, I go let you build a mobile app for me, an enterprise app we will go use for actually record them, picking them progress over time." Right. So when you take every picking in our database, when you take the book, we know which book you read, we know which page you start for that lesson, then which page you stop, because you bring your book and we ask you which page you stop. So we record which page you stop. So the picking now they take the book home, we mm-hmm. protect the asset. Right. The picking they share the books and they read for that lesson, and we then take the book off them and then record inside and stuff. Then they help you for gauge the picking and pace how they read, which book they're interested in, with a plot the reading activity with their marks in school, all they have on inside the mobile app. I would see if this reading improve the performance. Yes. So the pilots they really loaded with that kind of what they will call M&E, I think the practitioner they will call it. We really want to know if this is a solution. We know they go with the kind of arrogance for say, well, library they don't work other sides, so if we work in a salon. Yes. We really get for measure for let we understand if indeed it works now in your situation. Yes. And so far the feedback is kind of encouraging. So that's what they do. But we get another sort of trick up with sleeve, because obviously we're a food-based charity. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we would do, would they make sure say when they pick in and don't read John, we want to make sure so they get a positive feeling about reading. Right. So when they give them food at the end of every library lesson, then they get food. But then they get a sort of platelets and things like how we plan. So then they get special cake food they make for them, where packed with nutrition. Because again, we research something we then call a crop we then call orange flesh sweet potato. That sweet potato we will all be eating with small, that orange one. Right. Now something we then really recommend for picking, especially early grade learners, for help them with the vitamin A and then performance in school, etc., etc. So we use local crops: orange fresh sweet potato, honey, granite, benny, carrot, all the plants locally. Now we use for make special cake them, where we now give them picking also for eat at the end of every library lesson. So for them, that sweet, them of course that they get sweet things, but they enjoy them.
It's reward, yes. Reward and conditioning, yes. Mm-hmm. That is very, very good. Madam Maka, you know, one of the people that would do the education program. You know, this model where Madam Janet and Gates, where they do na free tongue, the lunchbox organization, where they do na free tongue. And what do you think, Bodande? Because it seemed like a good model, because the picking them you get for see what in and if they improve what in reading, because reading is the fundamental understanding, knowing how for reading, understand what you read. Now you get for make them progress in school and the results then good and all. What do you think of all this stuff? What do you want for ask, or what do you want for add to this conversation where Madam Memuna don't talk and all that stuff when they do?
Thank you, Madam Fadima. As Madam Memuna did talk, I just to myself, you know what? I think we need to invite her to the education program.
Yeah.
Because I mean, waiting Madam Memuna don't do so. Very fantastic. I call this troubleshooting. I don't go into the system. I don't see waiting the happen first time. I don't begin look for solutions. So everything Madam Memuna don't say to we so. I just hope say you go able to do a paper on this what you don't do so for able for help the government for adopt the model introduce. I so excited about everything we don't lay out, especially the library, the mobile library. Recently I've been reading an article on Nigeria. They're talking about offline e-library. sure say Madam Memuna go look into that in the future. You know, we get chance to talk. You go look into that in the future for university students, them when they afford them books and they're very expensive. Maybe the e-library offline. You don't even need internet. You know, that go able to help them. So, Madam, I really want to say tonight how impressed. You know, as Madam Memuna they talk, I am so impressed by every bit of what you explain. So
Thank
for me, it's
you.
not really a question.
Yeah.
It's more like admiration to say you're doing a great job. And I hope say off this program, you and I can talk a little bit more. You know, we can able and you go able for encourage other people inside this United Kingdom for able for join you. You know, I heard about the lunchbox. I read about you doing Ebola. I've heard your name before. I know call the person name. We talk to me about you. So much admiration, but this I'm so happy just I'm being here listening to you explaining the things the kind of thing that we do for Sierra Leone. So really, what can you do for Sierra Leone? You are doing a lot of stuff for Sierra Leone. I want to say, as beautiful as you are, and you know, as gracious as you are, I want to say thank you, Mamuna, and I hope say away from this platform, you and I can have a relationship. We could talk more about Sierra Leone and how some of we go able to help you, you know, for learn from you, take it from where you are. You know, we still go salon one day and follow your footsteps. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Yes, thank you. You know, the kind comments there that people are looking, yeah, it's a big deal, but it's so encouraging because when you do this kind of work, it's very difficult, it's very taxing. So when you talk to people and they encourage you this kind of way, they really give you zeal for continue. I just want to pick up on a point where you make on the electronic side because I forget to mention, so we get a partnership with an organization we then call World Reader. World Reader, they don't step in now for help with tablet system. So we get 25 tablets in total where we use like the library. And what they mean is that the Pekin will get access to thousands and thousands of books that waiting in at the physical library. So for the Pekin we're more proficient, we don't go to a higher level now, then go able to use the tablet system for access even more books. And what's particularly exciting about that for me is that inside this tablet system, they get a whole sub-library on African writers and African stories. So what in that means we begin and go able to read about the world, obviously, and general books them, but then go also able to read about their own locality, then go able to read about in a way perhaps they relate to better, so they understand kind of their own position at the world. So World Reader then kindly step in with that facility there for we. While I give props to a member for mention some very important players inside the equation. Another company we on battle whip and this thing because we work with corporates. I mean, we're not an organization. We don't ever get funding from any side. We don't get grants from any international INGO or nobody. Nothing like that. We have a trade model where we'll talk about in a minute. But company that we don't step into the ring. NP, National Petroleum, for example, for the pilot projects we they run for a year. NP then they provide all the fuel for the library and completely free of charge. So then give me each of the library then gets a special I don't forget what they call the card, like a digital card, where then they use for going at the NP petrol station and top up the fuel and go off and do them work. So then I mean if you think about it, we're a small charity, then a major plus for we. Just on Friday, we get the brilliant news from Orange Mobile with this so world company, but Orange Sonata with based in SALONE. Orange don't provide you with 5 mobile phone, the 5 terminal them again, excuse me, where and 5 gigs of data every month for each librarian. So the librarian then go able to connect with the mobile app and record the information. So me also ever in the world are able to track using the internet, are able to track, log into the system, the library system, and see what's in the happen and with the ticket in the school. So that's a big plus for it because right now we work with the DSTI, which is based at State House. Then they're on standby now for utilize the data, for combine with their own data where they get on SALONE and Statistics Sierra Leone, for see how we can which insights we will get from this process, which information we're able to extract from all this data where we collect now a library combined with data field data, which what we will learn from this process. So that's what we kind of to the point in 2020, we would say we now want to roll out this to the rest of the country, and we will know exactly what thing for do. And again, the government of Sierra Leone, I was very, very, very lucky to have a conversation with His Excellency the President, who even came to the UK. I think it was in June for a conference. So I'm very lucky for get a sidebar with him where I tell him about the thing about the library, and he was so excited. I still remember that looking at his face lights up as I tell him, "This is why they do libraries." He said, "Anything you need for do for this library, tell me." He said, "I will support you." He said, "In fact, I want you bring the first library to me make a see for see." So indeed, a few weeks ago, was it the 10th of September, we organized a whole event in the State House. I think some of the pictures and they were shared with that. When we first library, we go to the president. They invite all kind of dignitaries, the INGOs and ministers, all kind of a person at that event. We had about 150 to 180 people. We come to that event day for come watch all the showcase the library, the first library, and the president. We even bring the Pekin and Candon from Cambia, which was very exciting for them. We bring all the Pekin and Candon from Cambia for come meet with the president, and they interact and then see the library. The president interact with them, talk to them, and I introduce some of the key personnel, obviously, in the team. So that was a very good lift for we, a very good endorsement for we. So the government basically they wait for see what will happen inside this first year, for see how we will now work together, as I say, working with the STI and State House, how we will work together for upscale this will reach to that point.
Right. There's a lady within Dr. Caroline Labor. They do a lot of things on educating young girls on book reading. They say don't donate 200,000 books. Literacy is a problem. They don't donate over 200,000 books in a salon already as present. Instead of they doing your own small organization. I think you say I'm simply Sally or whatever in waiting. Okay. I don't say go. But I mean, it just make a comment. They send a comment to me because I shared to them. They say thanks. They say literacy in Sierra Leone is an issue. I've donated over 200,000 books over the last decade in Sierra Leone. Sadly, I've given up on a lot of things in Sierra Leone as I have done my share. What would you encourage? I know, say if Caroline is watching, Dr. Caroline Lebo, if you're watching, simply Sadly, if you're watching, what do you say to
Please, Dr. Labor, hang in there. I understand the challenges that we don't face over time, or for a long time now, really. There are challenges. Nobody not pretend to challenge all day. I go really like for connect with them after this program for see how we can work together. It already did at the mindset of literacy, and he understand the issues. So it's not going to be difficult for us to move from one point to the other. Make it take a fresh look at we own solution and see, because many work with the Sierra Leone Library, but I mean with the way how they work, we know they work as a single unit. They collaborate with any and every organization. We get a vested interest in what we try to do. So obviously there was no way they're gonna SALONE for go do a library system and not work with the Sierra Leone Library Board. So they work with the Sierra Leone Library Board on a national level, and they work with them on a local level. In fact, and then they support the librarian in Nakambia. So I would really want to appeal to Dr. Caroline, but please connect with me. Through you, Madam Fadima. I hope so you connect with. Make we see how we can make a difference with literacy. It's a major problem. You see, we get, when you think about their picking there, so most of them, their parents, they're not literate in the first place. So if you look at the data, and I want to emphasize on this one, we will be putting solution in our salon. Please, that would pay attention to the data. Let we not just look at the anecdotal side. Make we look at the facts. Make we make evidence-based decisions. Make we look for it. Sometimes it's difficult, but let we defend the data and follow within the data say, not within we had say. You see, there are serious issues in education. Everybody know that, and nobody knows for explain that anymore. But a lot of them problem we also go to early reading, because there's something magical where they happen to picking where they learn for read at an early age, not just for saying early grade reading. Major anybody within the teaching profession know that. Early grade reading are the most important symbolic processing skill where a picking will learn. you're not going to realize that I'm saying a symbol in the process because we take them for granted. But it's almost like a mathematical language because all the letters and data and shapes, then sound, how to put them together, now coding you they learn so.
Yes.
So when picking learn how to do that at an early age, it yeah, a strong position in educational pathway.
Mentals, yes.
Yes, because you learn them at an early age. You will learn them later, not supposed to say that they bad, but when you learn earlier, it is in a stronger position. And then it can be in any language whatsoever, not to pass English. Yeah. So for example, if you watch, we can always say they're full of picking and get sense. Not to show where they go school, other full like get sense. But if you watch inside it, full of picking and they begin learn Arabic from
Arabic, yes, memorize.
So it don't learn symbolic processing at an early age. In mind don't open in a way where it's more receptive, so the more complex information where they come. So it come across as being much cleverer than the rest of them. But the key thing is it learn for it at an early age. So for we, that don't matter with the stress on, we they focus entirely for now at least on early grade reading. And right now, we just begin to test them. You know, when school open first, we try for now to say, okay, we'll get for wait for them, bring them warm up a little bit because they're not there on long back, you know. So we get them some time for settle in. Now we do assessments them. One each child with the project they cover about 5,000 plus children. Each of them picking there, so they get one-on-one assessment even before they go to the library. Because work on the side and they right now.
Yes.
Like a baseline test.
Yes.
And also test when they sit exam. Then they get one-on-one reading interview. You take them to the side, they sit down with the librarian, they read short passage. But make we able to identify which level each picking did. Then we store inside we app. Right. Then the program what we use, it gets what we don't establish what I'm picking at. So because I'm picking and they even at that class 4 level, still not letters no more they understand. Still not even getting words then corrected. So you get letters, you get words, you get paragraphs, and you get story. Now 4 different categories. When we don't establish inside each picking day, we now get for support the teacher for support that picking day. So there's like a 12-week program where they can be end around now for help that picking day for improve in reading till we get to the end of the pilot. And of course, with the repeat and test there at specific stages as we go through the year, make we see say the kind way how we put in the mobile library in the correct way. Make we see say the books themselves were inside the library and the correct books. Because right now we get a lot of donations of books, but some of them books they are superfluous because some of the books and the people are not able to read them.
Yeah.
You understand? So we need for first of all understand which kind of book then pick it, which the south we did now.
Yeah, the
which
level.
For each area, because each area again different. You know what I'm saying? Within they happen na Biledic sin, at the same time they happen na Samu or within. You get to pay attention to all them distinction there. So which kind level they picking within this area, which side then be, which kind of level then be, which kind of book they're interested, which kind of story then stimulated by, because some man in some picking a fishing village come up from, some picking a farming village come up from, some picking in person a trader. In interest they all can different. So we try to look at all that. Fortunately the technology is on site, so we're able to gather all this data and hopefully at the end of 2019-2020 school year, we were able to come up with, in partnership with all the other people who were battle with on this project, we're able to come up with a solution. We're going to now set up as a government and the own development partner and all the corporates that we battle with. We get Royal Air Morocco, for example, that's how they battle with and so on. So come to them and say, now this we do inside this 1 year, now this we learn, now this we they recommend. Then see now how we will move forward. And thankfully, that visit will do so to State House, who showcase the library. We were very lucky because the president was so excited again by what he say. He donates 2 vehicles to the project. Right there, I just announced this project is so wonderful. Me, they donate, and they make sure say we donate 2 vehicles to the project. So the support they come in from different sides. We get the political will behind what they do. So Dr. Labor in particular, maybe we're going to make better progress. We get a minister and all the relevant people that are involved in this project. So hopefully we will get better traction going forward.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Because this way they give so this your time, your expertise, all the research work that they do for make sure say everything go in place for monitor the picking and progress. That is a lot of money. If not private company, they can't do for SALONE government. You're talking about like hundreds of thousands of dollars where you give back to your country. And for that, we salute you. I raise my hat and I salute you for that. And God bless you. I don't know if Professor gets any other thing where
Yeah,
you want for us or
question for you.
yes.
Surely I just hear you. You seem to bemoan the quality of education at Cambia. In other words, I mean, it's unacceptable, it deplorable, not to anything where anybody can write home about. So the fundamental question is, you don't think of engaging both Dr. Kane Keller and Dr. Blai Conte, also because these are people that are giants in the area. So they don't come on an area like that. Then, people can't bemoan, I mean, how the education is. So at the end point in time, we said for engage them, for actually let them look at the bigger picture of where they come from and see what they're going to do.
Yes, this is a very good question. We talk about buying and people that will get influenced in any community. In fact, when we do the project launch in our status, we invite all the members of parliament from Cambia. So NGC was there, APC was there, and everybody else was there. Dr. Kadayon Kelamian and then direct contact about it. In fact, I just messaged him a couple of days ago and he messaged me back on this very library project. So he's very much aware. In fact, in the early days, the project's we've been just a hard time. Me and I get a one-to-one tell and say, look, at this data they say, oh, Cambia is in trouble. I said at the one for bring kind of Cambia as a pilot for see the impact of what this library could do. So it was very encouraged. So they are aware. In fact, when we launched the project, because before I go salon, we launched it actually in a London course. We invite the Cambia District Descendants Association in the UK branch. They were invited. The Deputy High Commissioner was also at that event, for bring them on board, make them realize, say, look, Cambia is in trouble. In fact, they are expect for really champion this project more than any other group because in their own area. You understand? So I take that point very, very seriously. We just go at people then yeah, you go try for do something, make them people they are aware. The chief and a Cambia, even we will go Cambia, we go to the chief, then we go to them, tell them exactly what you get for do and all of that. So you get their own buy-in before you begin roll out anything. So indeed, them people and they're very much aware what they go on, and when they look, we hope say go get support from them as well. And this way then they are seeking support. If I were not to mention it, and I can always forget it, but actually the most important side about the money. Supposing the one that say, well, Usauna they pull this money, so now they get donor funds, now they get what they call it, Usauna they pull this money. Well, something they will just begin to school feeding where soon after Ebola, when they get donation then still because that the kind of leftovers from Ebola, people that may still interested in them, they donate so we. But as time they go, we can see the donation then fade out. So it was a bit of a problem because the family now when they fund the project. Once you don't believe in picking in a school, we just go tell them say, hey, tomorrow I know they come because I don't get donation. That's also the thing they work. So we continue the commitment. Excuse me. But then at some point I get this idea where kind of my mind say, well, hang on a minute. Every single day now we they cook food for them picking to care and go to school. We go feed them, we come back, then we lock this kitchen, we lock all things inside, lock the kitchen, and then all man go home. I said, well, how about we take this same kitchen I would use for do school feeding? We begin run a catering business. Then we use that money from the catering business, that profit then we use them for run this charity. So indeed, that's what they do now. Fortunately for we, that moment they around that same time they were that idea they kind of head. British Council then put up their own restaurants, then canteen at the time for tender. So I took a big risk and say, what thing I they apply for? Because even though me not to be a professional caterer at that point, I just thought, what thing, I want to let them show me cater at this country. We cater hundreds of meals every single day to the level where we cater by school feeding. I said, so when they take that credit, we try and go to them. Now this way they do, and one for take over on a kitchen, on a canteen. Unfortunately for we win that bid. So now we get we don't convert that canteen into a proper bistro. Within a British Council, we cater for all the functions and the hall and so on. And we also win another bid with FAO and so on. So the catering what they do, the company named Cassava. So people in Africa in particular, we don't come across Cassava because we can do that festival, all that kind of thing we can do it. And we just even do Mr. Leone before the council. So Cassava in own job, it exists purely for service lunchbox day. So all the money Cassava they make na Prokangi lunchbox or do in charitable work. So we get what you call a sustainable model. Wow. We cater at the highest level, we cater for Bobo Jama, we cater for workshop, we cater for Sarah, we cater for the highest level, we just cater for the EU ambassador. Next week we cater for the High Commissioner and so on. So we do a broad spectrum of catering. engine behind Lunchbox. So all this work who they do, it's possible thing to say, well, how me go support this project? Well, even if you can't a British council, you can't eat in a restaurant, or you order take away from a restaurant, or you get party or married or something, you book that catering there with me. You go down, feed yourself and you guest them. Then you also they feed them tickets at school. You also they invest in the library system. So you they get with American negotiation, you get more bang for your buck. Because that $1 will be for just buy food for yourself. If you go to an ordinary restaurant, then you buy food for yourself. That same $1 they now they buy food for you and buy food for them at school at the same time. Yes. So that model they will use for people independence and we autonomy. Because for we the reason why sometimes we're able to do this kind of solution where we think and through, we work out for ourselves because we get that autonomy. We're not influenced by external funding. Because right. People and they give external funding, inevitably
and
they can't
tell you and dictate.
And yes. Control with it. Yes. So because we get this financial independence, we're able to make our own decision. Then we're able to follow what we believe in with a passion and deliverance to completion without we not ask, we not necessarily what's not the word to submit to yes. Other external forces and go do. So we on a complete self-sufficient model. Do your family them if you don't for support the local they do. On the book thing with cassava, on our way they come for holiday. We can forget the secret supper on the 12th of December, which we call a secret supper where they get an event. Nobody not gonna know how they get that supper. They pass on the day of the event. Now they tell all men saying that this at the location. If you want for support, we do your own a camp, it's our restaurant, on a book catering with you work in a company, you get for get workshop, you get for go salon, you get wedding for go do, or you go make sarah or anything. You get several people that were already they book with. Because when you book with you they get your own food, then you also they feed people picking it as well. So you yes. They help all the projects go before.
So thank you so much. Talk about the environmental integrity of the place. Toilet facilities, these facilities, water, all things. Because also, the atmosphere therefore be very congenial, to the environment as a whole. So when are your assessment about the environmental integrity of the place?
Of which place?
Well, the Cambia owner, the owner actually.
Yeah, things are bad, eh? Things are bad. Let we not even mean to countries but that things are difficult. The most thing in a salon need more work. Let we know kid with about that. But what's very important with any of them projects that we do, is find that you ring fence a specific issue and put your attention panel. Then somebody else will take another issue in focus on that, and then hopefully all them things will come together. But when we can go into an area, you want to do the sanitation, you want to do the health, you want to do the nutrition, you want to do this, it can too boku. So for we don't ring fence two specific issues that when then we the target nutrition and education. And even with the target nutrition as a conduit for education. Nutrition to the extent that it boosts education, not to just general nutrition.
Yes.
So we work and we create economies the way as well, because if you think about it now, we get some of them organized by Helen Keller Institute. We get farming cooperatives the way they farm specifically for this project.
Local farm.
Sweet potato the way they talk. So now we get farming cooperatives that all around that Cambia Losa area, the way they plant specifically for wheat. So when they create agribusiness, they create value add inside the system. And all them want to supply with honey, they want to supply with Benny, they want to supply with all them. But they create an economy around we as well. So we're very, very careful not to get distracted because a lot of things are way wrong at salon. There's no way you go where you go say, there's so much is wrong, so much is difficult. But you want to not go able to do all things. So the best thing where we see more is with the target specific issue and with still that issue there to the end. We know they move, we know they get this because a lot of time we get all the time. Yeah. So they get once they go cancer, you say, I get this so issue, or look funding there for this. So this we know they do that. So they focus on this particular issue because a major shortcoming that we see in our country. And if we not fix this issue with education, if we're not prepared with picking them for the 21st century, Salon will really, really, really suffer. So that's what they focus on.
Well, we want to say thank you. We don't come to the end of you. Because you 45 minutes, you don't talk like 1 hour now. I don't know if you mind. But yeah. But we say we applaud you. We tell God thank you for you and your organization, which you did do. And like I say, sustainable something, way for make a change, way for impact the people. And I go pass the message to Ms. Caroline, Dr. Caroline Labor. because I know say you don't do wonderful job. They get a book them in the Philadelphia area, and all the time she ship books to Sierra Leone, trying to give to this primary picking them way, But we say thank you to you. I don't know if you get the last one for say, because you say una get una restaurant, una get una catering service for sustain una. But if person want donate, if you say okay, I know they go salon, but I want donate to the organization. Is there any side where they go say, like, give me $5, like, give me $10, let me say help for what you do, because I believe in you, cause I believe in your team, because me not able to do them, but I want to give you, I want to support you, because you they do a wonderful and fantastic job for the people of the children of Sierra Leone.
Thank you, Fadi, but definitely the website lunchboxgifts.com. So lunchboxgifts.com. In our website, all the information about the project and facility that they for me to donate online as well, and via PayPal, etc. So if anybody wants to make a donation, also we get merchandise all this. So we get T-shirts and hats and things that you can buy for yourself, you can buy for your picking. We get an online store where you can buy to them also if you want for support we in that way. If you want to make booking with the restaurant website is different, because the restaurant has separate business. We call it in your website eat@cassava.com. Eat EAT at cassava.com. So eat@cassava.com.
And what's in the other website for me? Lunchbox?
Lunchbox
Gifts?
Yes, .com.
GIFTS.com. Okay.
Somebody, I will send them to.
Okay, send them to me. Then we'll go getting a call. Yeah. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Okay. And I don't know if Kutubu, Miss Janet, if you not get any last word.
The only way me get now for thank you very much for coming, taking the time off. I hope see how God made the start this journey will be similar like money. Let God make like continue the intention. Okay. And like we say, I mean, it's always answering the client call of waiting Kennedy between January 2019-60, asking everybody, ask what the country will do for you, what you go do for the country. And also, this don't give gravitas to the pervasive talk with all the government. Not to everybody, they go inside the politics, for they contribute to us. You don't quote to us the task of nation building. We get diverse ways they move the drum. At the end of the day, though, what did not happen, that is significantly contribute to us the task of nation building. And so we tell God, thank you. People like Mr. Janet, they own politicking, that by way of doing something very concrete, we're very empirical, you see the evidence, but what they do. In other words, they try to prepare the next generation of leaders. Let God continue for putting blessing on them. And you always welcome for coming viewers for Can't Talk to We about progress, man.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Janet, education, yes. Madam, go ahead. Say
well, Madam Memona Janet, I just want to say to you, honestly speaking, I love for you always, and we hope say all watch tonight, or ever go come in touch with you. I hope say then go able like where you don't get the address now, so I can go give a gift for support your initiative. I will be one person who will be doing that like ASAP. I love you, girl. I mean, best wishes.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
We definitely get for connect. Definitely.
Oh yes. I love you, girl.
Yeah. That's our Esto Fidelis. Be thou faithful. Go ahead.
Oh yes. Indeed. Oh yes. Yes.
Yes. Esto Fidelis.
Oh wow.
I'm so proud of you. So proud of you doing good things. Yes, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful evening. And thank you so much. Show me people them. Will they say goodbye to Madam Memona Janet? Will they take a quick break, and then will they come back now for Carol Mott for waiting the happen for we law school where we get free tongue, all the kuskas where they happen, all the politicking and the tribalism where they inside there. We get for Rob Mott Panam for let you voice everybody in voice matter, voice of Salone. We go come back, we'll take a commercial break. To whom you give your money is to who you give your power to. So when they can't write back, we take a quick break and we say goodbye to the guests. Thank you.